Stephen Flynn. Point of order.
Madam Deputy Speaker, may I firstly begin my point of order by just re-emphasising that we are all here tonight to vote on the civilian deaths in Gaza and the appalling situation that has been faced by nationals in Israel too. We all must remember that. Madam Deputy Speaker, if I have listened correctly to what has just been said, on SNP Opposition Day, should the Labour Party's motion be carried, then the SNP's vote will not be held. Secondly, if I have read the clerk's letter to all members correctly, which was sent to the Speaker, this was a consequence that he was warned of. So can you please advise me, where on earth is the Speaker of the House of Commons? How do we bring him to that seat to explain, how do we bring him to this House now to explain to the Scottish National Party why our views and our votes in this House are irrelevant to him?
Well, I thank the honourable gentleman for his point of order. First of all,
Eleanor for Speaker.
Who is that? It really is. It really would be helpful if.
Sorry, she's just here. Just giving us some support. Starting her campaign. Name.
Order. As long as it takes, I will answer the point of order, and then I will take other points of order. But I would suggest that we allow me to speak first. Further to the Right Honourable Gentleman's point of order, I have explained that there were going to be, as I understood it, 3 votes tonight. The government has withdrawn from that. The consequence is, as the Right Honourable Gentleman says, that if the Labour Party amendment is passed, it is then added to the SNP motion. So there is not. So he is right. He is right to say. No. Let me finish. He is right to say that there would be, if there was a division, there would be just 1 vote. But if it goes through, then we move on to the next business. Let me first of all take the point of order from the Chair of the Procedure Committee.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. I seek your guidance. My understanding from the advice that I've seen is that the reason that Standing Order 31, where the motion would be put first, was not applying was because there were 2 amendments. If there is now only 1 amendment, surely we would revert to Standing Order 31.
Well, I thank the Chair of the Procedure Committee for her point of order. But if the government amendment is not put, then we revert to the amendment from the Labour Party. That is put. That amendment is put. If it is passed, then the SNP amendment is amended, and there is then the question is put on the SNP amendment. Point of order. I'll come back to Stephen Flynn, and then I'll come to Mr. Ragg.
Madam Deputy Speaker, follow to my earlier remarks and on the back of the remarks which have been made there. I'm afraid that you did not provide clarity to me in relation to, 1, where the Speaker of the House of Commons is. Secondly, what mechanisms are available to members to bring him to this House to explain that the SNP Opposition Day has turned into a Labour Opposition Day. And thirdly, and most importantly, I must insist to you, Madam Deputy Speaker, that the SNP motion is voted on first, as the Chair of the Procedure Committee has just outlined.
First, I am going to take the other member of the Procedure Committee, then I will come back to the honourable gentleman's point.
Thank you very much indeed, Madam Deputy Speaker. And upon such a serious debate and topic, and on a personal note for me, having given Mr. Speaker a great deal of support in his election to this House, on the basis that we were going to have a fresh start and that conventions that govern our proceedings wouldn't be meddled with to seek one particular political view at any one time, I am hugely disappointed by what has transpired. And we are not showing ourselves as a House anywhere near our best or what we're capable of to the country. I wonder, Madam Deputy Speaker, if you could advise on the nature of the early day motion tabled in my name and a number of my other colleagues, which will appear live at the close of proceedings today. If you are aware as to whether those in receipt of payroll, government payroll, are by convention eligible to sign such an early day motion.
Well, I thank the honourable gentleman for his point of order. I imagine that the SNP Chief Whip wants to add to what has already been said on this.
I thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I have to say I'm slightly confused because I don't want to break any confidences, but I was assured that I would have a vote on the SNP motion today. And as I understand it, and as I understand the advice from the clerks, if the Labour Party motion being put first were to be passed, that amends the text of our motion. And the vote then, given that that amendment removes all of the text of our motion, we would not have a vote on the text of our motion on our opposition day. How can this possibly be allowed to happen?
Let me first of all address the point from the right honourable gentleman, the leader of the SNP. First of all, the Speaker set out very clearly this morning the reasons for his decision to give the widest possible scope for different views to be heard and voted upon. The honourable gentleman, the SNP Chief Whip, knows that we would have been able to vote on all three of the propositions. However, because the government motion has been withdrawn, then that is not possible. So, that is the correct position. We finished voting, we finished the wind-ups at 6:15. There would have been the opportunity for 3 votes. Because the government is no longer participating, I will put the question. I'm finishing this point of order. Point of order on a point of order. I will put the question on the Labour amendment, and he is quite right. If he will sit down, I'm responding to him. I am responding to him, so he needs to sit down. He needs to sit down. So I will put the Labour amendment. He is right. He is right. No, I'm answering his point of order. Sit down. He asked me whether that would amend the SNP motion. Yes, it would, if it is passed, but the SNP do not agree with the wording, they can vote against it. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. That is the situation. That is the situation. I'll come back. Philip Davis.
Madam Deputy Speaker, it seems that the Speaker of the House of Commons was put under intolerable pressure. The BBC Newsnight political editor, Nicholas Watt, tweeted that senior Labour figures tell me that the Commons Speaker was left in no doubt that Labour would bring him down after the general election unless he called Labour's Gaza amendment. That was a Labour figure told him that. I don't say rubbish. That was a Labour figure. Madam Deputy Speaker, can you assure the House that everything will be done to identify who it was that put that intolerable pressure on the House of Commons Speakers?
Sit down. I thank the honourable gentleman for his point of order. That tweet is wrong and the statement is incorrect. Just to reassure him. I know he would want that reassurance. Point of order, Stephen Flynn.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I'm afraid that I am going to have to try for a third time. Can you please advise me where the Speaker of the House of Commons is, what mechanisms are available to bring him to this House, and as we wait for a deliberation to be made in that regard, I move that this House, you use the powers that I trust you have to suspend this House until the Speaker is brought here. You can't do that.
The honourable gentleman asks a point of order, then interrupts his own point of order. If he would just... I will not be suspending the House. We need to put these questions. Mr. Speaker will be in his place tomorrow. Point of order, Dr. Matthew Ufford.
Madam Deputy Speaker, where is the Speaker?
The honourable gentleman is... I'm afraid he'll have to make do with me. I know it's a great disappointment. Mr. Speaker will be here tomorrow in his place. Point of order, Dame Angela Eagle.
Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. Will she confirm that traditionally, many years ago, opposition day debates used to be taken seriously by governments, if they were lost, as happened when the Labour Party was in government with the Gurkhas motion, the then government used to put them into effect. But since we've had successive Conservative administrations, they have largely ignored opposition day debates. They have refused to take part in many of the votes, and they have widely ignored the result of those votes that they haven't taken part on. So will she agree with me that it comes a bit rich from that lot opposite to be listening to lectures about how important opposition day debates are when they routinely ignore them?
Well, I thank the Right Honourable Lady for her point of order. First of all, let me say, unless there are very exceptional circumstances, opposition day votes are not binding. I think she knows that. She knows parliamentary procedure. Secondly, she is correct to say that I think it was the previous but one Leader of the House said that if a motion was passed and the government hadn't participated, she would come back with a response within 20 days. I think that is my recollection. I don't believe that is followed currently, but you're right, the Honourable Lady is right, that is what used to happen. But it's absolutely up to the government, as to any member of the House, as to whether they vote or don't vote. It's their decision. Point of order, Brendan O'Hara.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. The House and its procedures have descended into absolute chaos. And they've descended into chaos simply because of a decision taken by the Speaker earlier today. Is it too much to ask, Madam Deputy Speaker, that the Speaker is asked to come to this House and explain exactly why he took those decisions, the consequences of those decisions, and how he intends to get this House out of the mess that it currently finds itself in? And what reason, Madam Deputy Speaker, would you not suspend the House in order for the Speaker to come here and sort this mess out?
No, I've said twice already that the Speaker set out this morning in detail why he'd made his decision, and he will be in his place tomorrow. Point of order, Sir Chris Bryant.
Madam Deputy Speaker.
No, you will listen to the points of order and listen politely. It looks so bad on such an important issue. And no point in shouting me down now. To our constituents, if they just see people who are raising perfectly reasonable points of order, that they're just shouted down. Not good. Not good. Sir Chris Bryant.
There are perfectly legitimate views on different sides as to the propriety of today's proceedings. However, I would just say gently to some honourable members opposite who have said that you cannot possibly have an opposition day motion being amended by another opposition party, that some of the members who are shouting the loudest
Yeah.